In a quaint village nestled between sun-drenched hills, there lived a boy named Kunal. Bright, imaginative, and filled with boundless dreams, Kunal often found himself lost in thoughts of future success. He wanted to change the world, build new things, and make his family proud. However, there was one thing holding him back: his habit of talking too much about his dreams. Whenever Kunal had a new idea or goal, he couldn't help but share it. Whether it was with his friends, teachers, or even people he barely knew, he would speak at length about what he was planning to do. If he planned to study late, he'd tell everyone. If he wanted to build a model or start a project, he'd discuss it with great enthusiasm long before he ever began. At first, people admired his passion, his friends praised him, his family encouraged him, and his teachers were impressed by his excitement. But over time, Kunal's actions never matched his words. He'd lose interest before the real work began. Somehow, the energy he spent talking seemed to drain the motivation needed to act. One evening, while walking through the village square, Kunal noticed an old man sitting under a large tree. The man was Guru Dev, a wise sage known throughout the region for his insight. People often sought his guidance, but he rarely spoke unless necessary. As Kunal passed by, Guru Dev looked up and said, "Young man, I've heard you speak of many dreams, but tell me, how many have you fulfilled?" Kunal looked down, embarrassed. "I try," he said softly, "but I get distracted or I lose interest. Sometimes it feels like the world is working against me." The sage nodded slowly and gestured for him to sit. "Let me tell you a story," he said. "Many years ago, in a village not far from here, there was a poor farmer named Raghu. He owned a tiny plot of land, barely enough to grow food for his family. But Raghu had a big dream. He wanted to turn that small patch into a fertile, thriving farm. Unlike others in the village who often boasted about their plans, Raghu said nothing. He worked quietly, saved every rupee, and spent his free time learning how to improve his land. The villagers were puzzled. They'd often ask, "Raghu, why do you work so hard?" But Raghu would simply smile and say, "You'll see." Years passed. Raghu never stopped working. Slowly, he bought small pieces of land around his field. He improved the soil, invested in better seeds, and cultivated his crops with care. He never asked for help. He never made announcements. One day, the village awoke to find Raghu's land transformed. Lush green fields stretched across the horizon. Where once stood a simple hut, now stood a solid brick home. The villagers were astonished. "When did this happen?" they wondered aloud. An old friend asked him, "Why didn't you ever share your plans?" Raghu smiled and replied, "When you speak too much about your dreams, two things happen. First, people discourage you, some out of jealousy, some out of doubt. Second, your brain starts to think you've already achieved something just by talking about it. I chose silence and let my work speak instead." Kunal listened intently as Guru Dev's story ended. The sage added, "When you talk too much, your mind feels rewarded just from the attention. The excitement fades before you even start. Not everyone will cheer for you. Some will doubt, others may even hope you fail. That's why the wise act first and speak later." A new sense of clarity filled Kunal's heart. "Is it too late for me to change?" he asked. Guru Dev smiled. "The moment you choose to change, change begins." From that day on, Kunal stopped sharing his goals with everyone. He kept his dreams close to his heart and focused on action. He studied harder, avoided distractions, and stayed consistent. When people asked him about his plans, he would just smile and say, "You'll see." Months passed. Kunal's grades soared. His confidence grew. And when exam results came out, he had topped his school. Friends were amazed at his transformation. "How did you do it?" they asked. Kunal simply said, "I stopped talking. I started doing." Over time, Kunal went on to become a successful entrepreneur, respected for his wisdom and admired for his humility. Whenever someone asked for his secret, he would say, "Dream big, work quietly, let your results make the noise."